Hondata Flash Pro. That's what we are tuning on, guys. We got a 2007 8th Gen Civic, and we're tuning it by ourselves in factory calibration form. And I've been tuning this vehicle for some time, guys, and we just experienced our first mega problem. So stay tuned to watch the whole video. So legit, there's so many data logs that I have done already in trying to adjust the closed loop method of tuning, which is partial throttle. I'm trying to dial it in because my car was always running rich, putting too much fuel in the engine, and you know, the oil smells like fuel. We're wasting more fuel, so it's not efficient. So we tried to dial it in. And let me show you guys all the data logs that I have been doing, guys. Let me just park you right here. All right, let's take a quick look. Hopefully you guys can see this. There is so many data logs that I have been running, guys. Let me take a look right here. I started off tuning. You got 13 folders right here, and each folder has a few maps and logs right here. And it just increases. You can see more logs, more data logs. And I do adjust a lot of parameters on some of these things here, trying to fine tune it, but I can never get consistency with these tunes. It's just always forever changing. And I'm not sure if I'm dealing with an internal problem here on my part, but we ran into a hiccup the other day when we were driving. And we were on the highway just cruising, coasting in fifth gear, about 60 miles per hour. And then the car, as you can see right here, it just started running super duper rich. So I don't know why it started dumping all this fuel in, and my oxygen sensor realized it has way too much fuel, so it's taken 31% of fuel away. Now it's probably taking more fuel away, but 31% is just about the most it can read or take away. And then let's just look at the data log. I mean, I'm cruising right now, 60 miles an hour, as you guys can see, 1200 RPMs, and it is consistently just taking away all this fuel. And the car runs like absolute garbage, guys, when this is happening. It's just running super mega rich. And yeah, here it got a little bit better at -25 as I increase my RPMs. Obviously more air fuel, obviously more air going in the engine, so it's not as bad. But yeah, it's pretty bad. Once you get to low RPMs, guys, the car wants to stall on you. The car just cannot idle. I'll be forced to restart the car a few times. But the weirdest thing is, once I do restart the car, it pretty much does run decent for a little bit. I've noticed it starts going into this -31 fuel trim area after a couple of heavier throttle pulls. You know, if I do 2-3 pulls, pedal to the metal, it'll just go into this weird limp mode, or whatever you want to call it, where it's now running right, and it's causing the short-term fuel trims to spike. So I've been trying to go around this problem, trying to drive it, and actually this problem lasted about 4 days without changing anything. On the 4th day, this problem resolved itself, and the fuel trims kind of went back to normal. Not as normal as they used to be. Again, normally I would be like -8 fuel trim. When it was running bad, it got to as bad as like -15 long-term fuel trims. But the car was running much better after the 4th day. So very ironic. I don't know what the reason for this is. I'm thinking, I'm looking at some of these logs. I'm noticing my air fuel meter voltage is a little bit high at idle. I'm curious if it's in my mass airflow sensor that's going bad, if it's my oxygen sensor that's kind of tweaking. Again, we did test our oxygen sensor and we took it out a few times, so that could be a possible culprit. But regardless, through all these problems, we're progressing forward with tuning the vehicle in its current state, and trying to rule out some more problems. You guys stay tuned for the future videos, because you know, there's more coming right now. I'm filming a lot of these videos after the events happen, so I can kind of make a summary video for you guys, just like on this video. Again, like I told you, the car is running after the 4th day. One thing I do want to show you real quick is how you want to calibrate your mass airflow sensor if you're running an AFM tune. So essentially, let's bring this back in. You're gonna data log for about 15-20 minutes. The more the better, honestly. And once we're there, we're gonna go on Window, Advanced Graph, XY Graph, and right over here you guys will see your fuel trims. And ideally you want the average mean to be around 0. Plus or minus a few degrees is fine, but as you can see, this is off the charts running rich. So let me pull up another data log, more recent data log, which will help explain this a little bit better. So right here we got a 20-minute data log, guys. Let's go back, take a look at the average fuel trims. And as you guys can see, the fuel trims at low RPM, low throttle here, it's still subtracting fuel. It gets a little bit better as we get more airflow, but these are the fuel trims that I want closer to 0. So I have to adjust them. I have to remove some fuel from the injectors, and you can remove the fuel in 2 ways. One way is in the fuel segment here, you can reduce the injector open cycle. You can reduce that, or another way you can do it is tuning the AFM flow and adjusting the voltage to mass flow, which will help determine the amount of fuel that's squirted in the injectors. I've been messing around with this for a little bit, guys. Again, AFM tuning usually is more difficult than map tuning, but we're not giving up. We're gonna keep trying. We're gonna find out what the problem is. Eventually we're gonna go on a map tune anyway on the stock calibration, just because I want to mess around with it some more and get it ready, because eventually I'm gonna start plumbing the intercooler piping first before I even get the turbo set up, because we're gonna have to install this turbo kit probably in like a day or 2, because it is my daily driver and I'm gonna need the car. So we really have to brainstorm everything, get it dialed in, so when it comes, everything's Gucci. Make it work, make it run, no problems. Cross our fingers. Subscribe to the channel, guys, if you are new, if you appreciate any of these videos, if you're entertained, and if you want to see the R18 Turbo Build happen. I'll see you guys on the next one.
I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you. Come along and see it's true.